D-Type Jaguar was designed primarily by Jaguar to continue after the success of the C-Type to go racing at Le Mans and to win the championship for Jaguar in the racing world. They were using the XK engines, which were hugely successful. First car to ever do 120 miles an hour for 24 hours, and that engine was expanded upon, and it was aircraft technology, aircraft engineers, and the fin on the back was to make it go straight. So yeah, it was a fantastic car at that time. Well, you had Ferrari and Mercedes-Benz, and obviously everyone knows the story with Mike Hawthorn winning the 55 Le Mans, and unfortunately the Mercedes crashed and took a lot of lives at that period of time. And shortly afterwards, I think they give up the racing world after the D-Type. Steve McQueen being one of the most famous guys that I think he owned one of the XKSS's, which was a sort of a short-nosed D-Type, was built primarily for road use. They built 25 cars, of which only 9 survived the fire in Browns Lane in '57. So there were only 9 of those cars in existence, which was a D-Type without the fin on the back and a boot fitted, and had creature comforts such as wind-up windows and so on. They were ahead of their time, yeah, of course, yeah, much so. And of course, we had very limited number of staff at Browns Lane compared to, let's say, the German company Mercedes. They had thousands of people, and Jaguar took them on and sort of won on the track on the day. It was a very limited numbers. The D-Type, I think 71 were in production, of which I think 18 cars were team and works cars, 53 of them were privateers, and then I think the last 9 remaining that weren't built, went on to build the XKSS, where they decided to make a road-going version, of which out of those 16 built, 25 built, only 9 survived. I believe there was 3 in grey. A large percentage of them were in fact British Racing Green, but there was blue. I think there was a red car, and then there was a beige car even. Well, sitting behind me is obviously the original Abbey panel buck that we believe the Mike Hawthorn car was used as a guide to build this buck so they could put the car into production. So this would have been made in the late 40s, as the first prototype development cars around 52. I think the first D-Type actually on the road was 54. So it's extremely old, as you can see. And in fact, if you take a look, there's an original D-Type door there that fits the buck perfectly to show you. So literally all 71 cars were built on that buck. Well, this D-Type buck is obviously made out of plywood, and it's been shaped pre-clay model cars, obviously. And it was made in this way so that they could use the tooling, like wheeling machines, to make the panels, try fit them on there, weld them all together, and actually make the skin fit this like a cover almost. I think this was a forerunner, and people loved the shape of it, and they loved the look of it and the speed of it. And obviously it went on to develop the E-Type straight after, which was an affordable car that people could drive in the streets. So it was almost like a race car on the road, really. This buck has come just simply out of the blue. I was at a friend of mine's shop, and it was sitting up in the loft in the 3 sections that it is, and obviously originally they were all riveted together by aircraft engineers. That's why when you see the actual factory cars, you see the rivets along the sills and the bottoms, and where the 3 pieces went together. I came about it, the guy that owns Mike Hawthorn's actual car bought it, I think, around about 25 years ago. And he participated in Goodwood and other historic events. And he thought, well, if I ever crash it, it came up for sale, and he bought it in case he ever banged his car. And obviously his car now is worth a considerable sum of money. And he's decided to give up the racing because of the value of his vehicle and the historical value of, if nothing else. So as he doesn't race it anymore, he's decided to part with the buck, as he's got nowhere to put it. So I just happened to be there on the right day at the right time, and we've now put it in our shop. We've managed to find a long-lost D-Type that's in a garage that's been wrecked and nearly 50 years ago. So the family still own the car, and they've got the original buff logbook and the numbers, and they're considering letting us build the car, rebuild it and restore it. And we're going to use this buck to make the shell and get the car back on the track with any luck. Been speaking to Jaguar, they are going to certainly have some meetings with us and point us in the right direction, as there are some original guys around that worked at the factory during this time. And in fact, one of the chaps here that works with me worked at the factory at the time building E-Type, so he's very aware of every unique little rivet and piece where it should be. So hopefully we can get it quite accurate. It is wonderful that this can still continue today, that the crew are still around to be able to point you in the right direction and make it. Although thin on the ground now, the guys that can actually build these bodies and so on are unique talents. I think the skills are still out there that can do these projects. Obviously, you've got modern cars like this one next to us, which are fantastically made and precision, but the skills are being lost with these old cars. So, fortunately, that's where we come in. We're training people to restore E-types, as you know, outside. So hopefully, it will carry on. So I think it's going to be probably an 18-month process from start to finish. Hopefully by the end of the year we may have a body and a chassis to dry fit and tri-fit all the components before we actually paint it, which we will undertake here. So we may have a finished car within, I'm going to say, I guess it's going to be 2 years. Go on the track, definitely. That's part of the deal, that we get to build the car or restore it, that the guy wants to see it back on the track. It was his father's car. It's got big race history and there's files and files of paperwork, which we have to return to him, but we can take copies. But one of the things, criteria was that we take it to some of the big events, and perhaps we get parade lap round Goodwood or even Le Mans or Spa 6 Hour, or Silverstone Classic. It'd be very good to take it along there. Yeah.